I'll cut all of it.
I am an optimist, actually.
Can we both apologise now?
Just a horrible knob reference.
Morning, madam. Could I interest you in a bucket?
Oh, what are you like?
Now then, are you ready, boys?
Yeah.
Everyone happy?
Delirious.
Sit comfortably. I'm about to begin.
Tell me when you're going to start.
OK, now, Rob, do you think being funny makes you attractive?
Oh, yes. I wouldn't like to admit that. You know.
You must know, though.
You remember? It works for us.
I don't think so. I really don't think so.
Yes. In my case, very attractive. I can't help but notice that you got a little restless while we've been talking. That can't just be an urge to have a wee. There must be more to it than that.
Don't flatter yourself.
Come on, let's not play games.
No, really don't flatter yourself.
No, come on, let's not play games. All right, I won't flatter myself.
No, let's play games.
Oh! See what you're doing with me? You're pulling me in and you're pushing me away.
I am.
I learnt far too late in life that girls like confident men. I always thought girls liked a rather bumbling Hugh Grant sort of, gosh, I really don't know whether they bugger off.
Well, it's not, is it sexy? I don't know, because I always think, like, sort of with friends of mine that are musicians or singers and stuff, I sort of think that they stand on stage and they're sort of saying, look at me, aren't I sexy? And I think as comedians, you're sort of saying, all right, you know, and sort of, it's about fallibility and failure and weakness and vulnerability. Clowning, especially, is about vulnerability perhaps more than anything else.
I never understood this idea that there are cool comics. You can dress cool and you can smoke at a funny angle and have your photos done in a particular light. But, you know, you're a chimp. You're chimping about. You know, and there's really brilliant ways of doing it, and admirable ways of doing it, and clever ways of doing it, and then there's, you know, there's very sort of basic ways of doing it.
Look, people always say, oh, a great sense of humour. That's what's most important. It's lovely. People like meeting funny people at a party, but they take that person home to shag. So, yes, you're good company. Hey, being off the telly doesn't hurt. You know, I have slept out of my league.
I mean, when Dizzy was #1, we were at the Colston Hall in Bristol. On that night, it went to #1, and the stage everyone was on the stage, and we were, you know, it's like funny. Like I've been doing a comedy show, and there are girls trying to take your underpants off. In fact, I saw one girl interfering with herself.
Did you?
In the front row, yeah, while she was gazing at me. That put me off.
Some comedians go, I just want to get laid, and I just want to get laid, and you go, what a weird way of going about getting laid, because stand-up's pretty horrific in the beginning.
Yeah. Were you attracted to each other because you made each other laugh in the first
We
place?
always had done. We'd always be, you know...
Was there something
yeah,
homoerotic about it?
Probably. He's not a very good fuck, though. He's all right.
That's not what you said at the time.
Guys can detach, and ladies can't. That's why they don't understand that guys are different. In other words, ladies are creatures of emotion, all one emotion. A lady can't go through a plate glass window and go to bed with you 10 seconds later. And they don't feel good. Really, in this. But guys can have head-on collisions with Greyhound buses, disaster areas. 50 people ain't dead on the highway. On the way to the hospital in the ambulance, the guy makes play for the nurse. She goes, how can you do a thing at a time like that? I got hot. Who got hot? How could he get hot? His foot was cut off. I got horny. I don't know.
When you left school, then, was there any point where you thought that comedy might be a career for you?
No, never. I never dared mention in the family I wanted to go on the stage. They'd laugh. Get yourself to Camel Laird's and become a boilermaker.
Where I was, you can go and work for Marley Tiles or in the bank, depending on whether you were posh or
You
not.
could have saved a lot of people a lot of trouble and done either of those two careers, Charlie.
Yep, I had a glittering career in banking ahead of me.
I was a salesman, you see. Early on, knocking on doors. Good morning, madam. Could I interest you in a bucket?
I was an accountant. And I had a degree in accounting and decided it wasn't for me. And I decided I was going to see if I could make a living in comedy.
I was working in marketing. I'd worked in advertising. I was there working in marketing, and I didn't like it. I didn't like my life.
I was studying to be a rabbi just to please my father, even though I wasn't particularly that religious.
And I said to myself, I can't live my whole life to please my father. I think it'll be enough that I become a rabbi, fulfill his dream, and then sneak around and do what I want. And doing little performances in different places. So I would come back to my father and tell him, and then admit to him that I was telling jokes, but I'm not thinking of it as a profession. I found out that from telling jokes, you could make a few dollars. So when if I came back with $25 to my father, it was like $1 million.
Then I went to Butlins as a redcoat, and that was just manna from heaven for me. Showing off in front of people. But because you had the red coat and the whites, you were a star, and you could get away with murder. And the only thing I didn't like doing was the bingo. So I used to get myself sacked off that. I only did it twice. They said he's useless, because, you know, bingo ladies have this religion. 2 little ducks, quack, quack, 22. Macmillan's Den, number 10. Well, I used to go, Macmillan's Den, number 8. No! 2 little ducks, 47. No! And they'd be marking, and they'd say, get him off.
I did stop by
Yes.
University College Cork.
Excellent.
And after I did do 2 years there, and then left. My reasoning being, if I said I went to Oxford and got a first, someone might bother to check that.
Yes.
But, you know, a BA Hons from UCC. Yeah, I'm sure he did.
When I met Charlie at university, and he dyed his hair, this is such a strange thing, and he had some weird boots on, like après ski boots, which I didn't even know what skiing was. I'm joking with you. And he called himself Switch.
Did you?
Yeah, I'd got quite bored with my life. I was living near Sevenoaks. I'd had a very, very straight upbringing. Small town, you knew everyone, and I was bored. I wanted a complete change. I wanted to reinvent myself. I dyed my hair, and I went to university, and of course no one there knew me, so you say what you're called. I'm called Switch, and you expect to say, no, you're not. What are you talking about?
But we didn't. We all sort of went along with it.
All right,
you know?
OK, and after you've done it a couple of times, you think, well, that was easy. I wish I'd thought up a better character and name in retrospect.
Well, it worked, in that you got a lot of sort of female attention out of it, didn't you?
Yes.
It's pathetic.
So there was an element of comedy, as you can see.
Boys. When did the idea of comedy as a possible career occur to you?
Oh, when I was about 23. It never occurred to me. Because, you see, just after my time in the Footlights at Cambridge, everybody started thinking about show business. But before that, 1 or 2 exceptional people had done it, like Peter Cook. But no, all the people in my year, 1963, we all had jobs, or advertising or teaching. I was going to be a lawyer. I was going to be a solicitor. Freshfields, solicitors to the Bank of England. I was going to get £12 a week. And writing for Dick Emery and Derek Guyler, I got 30 quid a week. So I was happy, and I didn't have to wear a suit.
Because I was working in restaurants, you know, when you work in the evening, and, you know, we didn't have video recorders then, and I was utterly unaware of the scene that was happening in comedy. I mean, I really, really was unaware. I worked frantically hard in the restaurant, desperately trying to, you know, make something of myself. And so when people said, "Oh, do you know who Alexei Sayle is?" I had no idea who he was. I didn't know who Ben Elton was. I didn't know what was going on at all. And they said, "You can't not be on stage, doing what you do in, you know, in the staff room and in the kitchen and making fun of stuff. And why don't you do that on stage?" And it just sort of relit the fire for me. I had been aware that the Comedy Store was around the corner, and I had always intended to go and never made the time to go and do it. And the minute I stepped in that place, it was like coming home. It really was, because I was there and there was everyone on stage that I thought, Christ, they've started without me. How dare they?
I got to thinking that if I'm any sort of a comedian at all, I should be able to read the phone book and make people laugh without any jokes or gimmicks or anything like that. So that's what I'd like to try tonight, read the phone book and make you laugh. So, could I have a phone book, please? On the floor here. One good thing about this, you never run out of material. Oh, this is Cleveland. Can I have a Los Angeles phone book? It's funnier. So here we go. The funny phone book bit. Albert Aubin, 663 North Wilcox, Hollywood, California. Susan Essen, 1214 Ventura Boulevard. that's funny? I got 1 million of them. Alex's Plumbing, 8841 Barnaby, Garden Grove. No, seriously, Jan Albertson, 816 Frederick Place.
Can you remember the very first gig you did for cash?
Yes, I was paid £8 in the hotel in Carbis Bay near St Ives, and I won worth it. no, he overpaid me. He really did, yeah.
The first gig we did was at a place called Jackson's Lane Community Centre.
Oh, yes,
and
I'd
about
performed.
4 people had booked tickets. And then we got a phone call at 5 to 8. We were on at 8 o'clock. Would you mind starting maybe 5 or 10 minutes late? Because some people want to come to the show, but they just want to finish watching EastEnders.
A friend of mine had a comedy club there at this pub in Deptford, and he said he's going to pack it in. Do I want to take it over? And I said, OK. I've never been to a comedy club in my life. I don't know any comedians. What do I do? And he said, sort it out yourself, but you take £1 on the door. And I thought, right, I'll forget. I don't know anyone, so I'll do it myself. Therefore, I can pay myself and take the quids on the door. I'll be 4 times richer.
What was the material?
The idea was that I got them out of the audience, put a cardboard box on the head with a picture of Sylvester Stallone sellotaped onto it, and just asked them questions. For no reason. The box wasn't on the head for any point.
The first time I played Glasgow Empire, which was the House of Terror.
Frightening.
And on the Monday morning, Mr. Matthey, the manager, said, right, who are the comics? And 3 of us stepped forward to the band call. Right, he said, no football gags, and you get the bird on Friday night. What? All English comics get the bird on a Friday night. So you can imagine, on the Friday, I went down with her, it wasn't sort of designed to be like that. It's just sheer terror. And my first lines to a Glasgow audience is, I suppose you're all wondering why I've sent for you. And a Scotsman uncoiled himself on the 3rd row with half a bottle of whiskey in his hand. He said, "Cripes, what a horrible sight!" and fell back. And that was the first laugh and the only laugh.
End of the 70s. You have to remember, the way black people were represented on television was through Love Thy Neighbour, and people like Jimmy Jones and Jim Davidson were doing comedy where they included black people. And I used to go down the Dun Cow, which is a pub in on the Old Kent Road, and it was great down there. And Jim Davidson used to get up and, once again, you'd just think, God, he's got a real command of this audience. Christ, how does he do it? You know, and same with Jimmy Jones. And they would do this thing where they would do a Jamaican voice like this. And I thought, this is me living in a Jamaican house where people talk perfectly normally, except in a Jamaican accent. I thought, oh, that's a Jamaican accent. And so I used to copy that. So me, the real Jamaican, would copy their version of Jamaican, thinking that's the way you did it.
I just had this idea that there was a vacuum where people would like to see some stand-up comedy that wasn't, you know, Bernard Manning or, you know. So I just started writing material.
Did you get paid to do that?
Very little. And there was 2 gigs we did that ended in really serious violence. It was a Northern Soul disco, an avant-garde dance troupe, and then us. So, and of course, because all these skinheads had been, you know, attracted by the Northern Soul disco. So they locked them out for the avant-garde dance troupe, going boing, boing, ding, dong, boing. You could hear them hammering on the doors, boom, boom, boom. Then they let them in for me and Bill. And, you know, it ended in proper bottles and we had a load of people with us and fights and
Are you up for a fight then, Lex?
No, but I think that it's an important lesson to learn, you know, in your comedy apprenticeship, what a fine line you walk as a comic, really. And that it doesn't do you any harm to have had to flee from or control a howling mob. You know, I mean, I think that's, you know, the comedy can always break down into a riot, you know. And so it's you learn from that, you know.
I'm never really going for that blokish, you know, blood and thunder football and all that. I prefer, you know, makeup. And, you know, I'm powdery.
But you like a bit of cruelty. I think you did on the Shooting Stars. You like a bit of cruelty.
But it's not necessarily a bloke's thing, is it?
I think it might
be. Well, maybe women's comedy, if you want to really generalise women's comedy, women's things is verbal bitchiness.
Yes.
You know, and a male area might be to get the frying pan out, or an iron on the face.
I think cruelty is mistaken for wit too often, but I think anger is a very constructive, creative force in people, and I don't think it should be denied. And I don't think, especially men, should be denied the chance to express that comedically. I think that's very, creative, actually.
If you stayed in one place, in a lot of the clubs I performed, it was quite dangerous. If you gave them a pause, they would fill it. You know, with free beer and, you know, small clubs where people are getting pretty hammered. You develop a fairly aggressive style or a style that they don't have time, or you're moving faster than they could think, and that helped a lot.
Yeah.
There is, yeah, those were the first gigs, and the first really good paying gig was a comedy club in Orange County where I was the middle act, and the mics went out, and because I'd been trained at Juilliard, I was like, okay, I can go, and everyone's going, the mics are gone! And I went, okay, screw this, and walked out and just started attacking. And the audience was kind of loaded, so I wasn't afraid of that, and just went out and started attacking them and changing perspective, and went from the stage to the back of the room and said, now, those are the shitty seats, and the people in the shitty seats are, yes, you're with us. Yeah. And then it was like realizing, okay, I could make a living at it, which was kind of cool.
And I very quickly developed an aggressive style to beat the heckler. Because the heckler was not someone I had any respect for, because I never heard a witty heckle in my entire time at the Comedy Store, and I had many, many, many nights there. All I heard was brutal thuggery. So I developed a very punchy style, combined with the fact that I wanted to chat to my mum when I was 3 years old. I talk fast anyway. So I don't think I paused once in the whole 1980s, and that isn't quite who I am.
I learned that you had to be in control. That if you weren't in control, the audience would sense it, and you were dead meat. I think that's the first thing I ever learned when I walked down a nightclub floor. You're the boss. You got to be.
And are you able to remove that mask quite easily when you come off stage?
Oh, yeah, yeah. My wife, when we were first married, and she'd watch me perform, and she'd say, that's not my husband out there. I don't know who that is, but it's not my husband. It's not the man I'm married to.
I was doing a stand-up, my very early attempts at doing stand-up, and a guy heckled me and said, tell us a joke. I can floor you.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know any jokes. I certainly couldn't think of any jokes at that particular moment. I went, right, 3 blokes going to a pub. Yeah, yeah. Silence. And you think, oh, God, I've got them now. And now what?
What's the end of that?
I didn't know. 3 blokes.
I didn't know them. I didn't know the 3 blokes.
Exactly. So I just started to embellish on the 3 blokes. There was 3, actually was 4. There was 4 of them, and then there's 2 other their mates turn up. It's probably 10 in turn. Actually, more 15, say 20. All right, so 50 blokes. Rounded up, 50 blokes, and then there was a small village, and then a town, and then a country, and it went on and on and on. And I started thinking, and then a light bulb went off, and thought, actually, this is equally as funny as all this stuff I've been trying to work out, agonise over.
You seem, Frank, to be the sort of person on stage that you are off stage.
Exactly me.
Exactly the same.
Yeah, and somebody said, are you nervous? I said, well, the audience will, not me. I was brilliant, but the audience died in its ass.
I'm an optimist. All my comedy's optimism. By Jove, what a beautiful day. What a beautiful day for putting your kilts on upside down and shouting, how's this for a shuttlecock?
I am an optimist, actually, and I wake up thinking it's going to be a great day, and it tends not to be, and by about 10 o'clock in the morning, I'm disappointed, and that's what feeds the comedy.
Are you one of those people that secretly hopes you have quite a bad holiday so that'll make a good routine?
Yeah. That's the great thing about being a stand-up, is that even when things are shit, you know, I've got to get out of it. Yeah.
Exactly.
Disharmony is fertile, as a fertile environment for comedy. And dysfunction is fuel.
I do go through the mill with all of that stuff in real life before it ever occurs to me that it could be funny. In fact, usually it's other people, but this is going to be a good routine, isn't it? And I want to hit them, you know, because I'm still so angry about what's happened. And it'll only be later that frustration can start to reform as a kind of as a comic idea.
I remember once, at one point, it was a long time ago, but I was upset about something, and I was crying. And I was crying like this, going, and the mirror was over here, right? And I went like this. I remember crying, going, and I caught my reflection and went, Oh, that's interesting. That's what grief looks like. Must remember that. Right? That's useful, that. That's interesting. I look quite sad.
This is my album, my record album, and I want you to go into stores and ask for this. And if the dealer doesn't have it, go back at night with a can of black paint and paint a swastika on the store. It has all these stories and more. It was recorded live in Chicago, and it's a few pence or whatever it is, and it's a good record, and I'm amusing on it, and it's unbreakable and lasts for life.
I'm a collector. Some people collect fag packets, some collect teapots, some collect golf clubs, whatever. I collect funny stories. And anybody that has a collection, love people to share their collection. And that's all I do. All these funny stories I tell, every night I get the chance for people to share my collection with me.
Yeah.
And that's how I see it.
You're always on the lookout for new jokes.
So you're a scavenger?
No, I'm on the lookout for new jokes.
All right, we'll leave it at that. Quite
Scavenger
right.
goes round bins.
No, I know. Oh, I guess so.
Don't
Like
you think-
magpie. Maybe that's a better expression. I know Len's like that.
I'm not
He's
a magpie.
totally like that.
A magpie's a nicker. Which
Oh,
you-
that's true.
which you never do
All
that.
right, I apologise. That's wrong.
You never nick a gag.
The jokes are more important than I am. I like the idea of... I like sometimes when people sort of come and see the show and then afterwards you meet them and they go, oh, I used that joke in my best man speech. And you go, oh, that's brilliant. You took it and you went on with it. Brilliant. Great. I'm really glad. That's a brilliant thing.
Are you in the school of whoever tells it best can have it, then?
No. No. Any punter is more than welcome.
Another comedian is not.
Another comedian can fuck off.
It's more of a taboo amongst comics to be accused of stealing than it is to be accused of doing racist, sexist, or homophobic material, isn't it? It's actually a lot. It's like the biggest taboo. And I remember doing the stand-up comedy circuit, and there were a few comics who were tainted with that. And I have no idea whether they did or didn't, but I do know that you almost couldn't look at them when they came in the room.
Better than any song. So it isn't very pretty. You've got to admit it's cute. So all together, let it go.
Have you ever misjudged some material badly?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, you can do that all right.
There was a routine I used to do that I loved, but it never really worked. A guy was picked up by aliens and taken up to Mars and was there for about a week, and then they returned him. And he was being debriefed by the CIA because they wanted to find out what he had learned about Martians and Martian life. And one of the first questions they asked him was, would you say it's a more advanced society than our society? And he said, oh, yes, it's much more advanced. And they said, well, but like by how long would you say? He'd say, I'd say like 6 weeks, I'd say.
I can't believe that didn't work.
I was in New Zealand once, and we went on a fishing trip. I caught a shark within a couple of minutes. I caught a shark, like a 3-foot shark. And everyone clapped, and it was really, you know...
You're the man.
I was the man, yeah. And put it back in, carried on. People were catching cod and all this. I caught another shark. By the time I caught 10 sharks, I was like Shark Boy, and the captain was kind of looking at me thinking, oh, this kid's got something. And little did I know, there was a woman on the boat who was having a really heavy period, and I was fishing right over the toilet outlet, right? So she was effectively chumming the water for me. So there was like this massive, and then she was in the toilet listening to me going, I've got another one. And I remember looking down into the sea and seeing it coming out and thinking, oh, this is clever. They've got like a bait pumping system. But I tried to tell that story as stand-up on stage so many times, and it would just get, oh, come on. You know? I mean, vague disbelief and disgust. And I always thought that was really funny, you know? But it never got a proper laugh, and I also think it's going to work tonight. The period shark stuff is going to really work tonight.
Since then, have you got married?
Yes.
And have you run this past your wife, this whole problem of the shark period joke?
I have told her that.
And would
that
she
story.
advise you not to?
She just was disgusted by it. She said, you should never have said that in public.
I'm attracted to subjects that are sort of
dark and slightly taboo. And now I realise that you have to approach those things sensitively, and an audience has to have a tremendous amount of trust in you before they'll let you talk about children being killed, for example.
Yes.
But I didn't appreciate that when I was a drunker man.
Yes.
And so I would just go, oh, this is my views on, sort of on things that I wouldn't say now because I'm too sensible.
We did do jokes about the dead BG the day he died.
Oh, okay.
And that was phenomenally stupid of us. And we made the sort of terrible jokes that were being made in offices up and down the land, and taxi drivers and passengers, all those people could do that. But I, moron, thought it would be fine on the day the man died to go on television and do those jokes.
And were you genuinely sorry?
Yes, I mean, because because the next day we suddenly got the duty log, and you went, oh, actually, that man has relatives in this country. It's not, because it all became, you suddenly realised, oh no, an actual human, a BG didn't die, a man died, and it was terrible.
I always believe that you can talk about any subject, absolutely any subject, humorously.
So nothing's off limits to you?
No, not in terms of humour. No.
It's the handling of it.
It is the handling of it. And humour is comedy is about context.
I assure you, miss, these gloves are of the very finest quality. I'm sure your fiancé would be delighted with them.
Oh, thank you very much. I'll take them.
I'll have them gift wrapped immediately. Sure. Would you like to include a card, perhaps?
It's a jolly good idea. Thank you. Thank you. To my darling Charlie, with love from Mandy.
Oh, that's charming. Thank you.
I hope I'm not making a mistake. These look rather nice, too.
Oh, yes, but they don't look as nice as your Charlie's. I know I'd like my hands if I wanted to keep them warm.
I like you.
What about bad language?
If you went to see Paul Newman in a movie 20 years ago, you wouldn't expect him to say, fuck you to Clark Gable.
No, you wouldn't.
But if you see a movie today, the star of the guy who's on that same level of Paul Newman, who's the star of the movie today, would be saying fuck you to each other for an hour. And nobody's offended, because what was considered outrageous is now considered pedestrian, typical language.
The other dichotomy, in those days was whether you were a pro or anti-cuntist, really. Whether you would use the cunt word, and I would several times be heckled for. I was very much a pro-contest, really, and so you couldn't dispense with it, really.
You said it a lot. You did.
I did say it an awful lot. Yeah.
Did you enjoy the fact that you were?
It's a cheap laugh, It's just a cheap laugh. Well, I would like to say I was, like Lenny Bruce trying to take the force out of the way, but it was just getting a laugh.
It's just like a little boy running home from school and shouting knickers to his mother. They do it they think they're being shocking, and they think but it's so due, it's so awful, it's so ignorant.
I think when you have your own kids as well, you kind of have to explain it to them, because friends, our friend said they saw you on the telly doing this, that, and the other. I did that big fat quiz of the year, and told Jonathan Ross to fuck off on it. The phone went straight away. It's my eldest. Dad?
And then there's the other most stupid ones who dirty up a gag, a perfectly good joke, and they go on and do all the nonsense, which is crazy.
Yeah.
A good gag is a good gag. It should be looked after and
cherished.
Oh, cherished.
Ah, comedy di orchestra illusa Napoli, e poi sgridati.
Arsenal against Chelsea and Liverpool's clash with Manchester United. Gary Lineker reviews all the action with Match of the Day 2 next. And taking it that little bit further, see all the extra bits of Graham Norton uncut over on BBC 2 in 10 minutes.
La comédie de ta vie.